as soon as somebody asks me, have you seen anything that absolutely amazed you, my mind goes blank, right?
Yes.
I think that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing this guy's work and going, oh yes, I know what that is about. I understand what that is. That is great. That is stretching it. That's doing the real work.
When we look through the career of composer Ludwig Göransson, we see the work of a chameleon. Although he's composed and produced some of the most iconic scores and songs of the past decade, he's done so without drawing too much attention to himself. Before he won his first Emmy for his work on Season 1 of The Mandalorian, he was an unknown quantity to showrunner Jon Favreau. He had heard his work in movies like Black Panther, but until mutual collaborators Ryan Coogler and Donald Glover recommended him for the new Star Wars project, he couldn't put a name or a face to those scores. But despite his relative, albeit decreasing anonymity, his style and attention to detail have gained him major respect in the composing community. I mean, when you get to be only the third composer to work on a Christopher Nolan film after this guy, you know you're doing something right. But the movie that really launched his career as it is today was 2015's Creed. I think there are certain moments in every filmgoer's life that will always stick with them. And for me, listening to the Creed score in the theater is one of those moments. Since I watched it 5 years ago, I've listened to my favorite tracks from the movie about 3 times a week on average, which may sound crazy, but for me the music has become linked with the feeling of determination, of pursuing a worthwhile goal no matter where you're starting from. It's just a perfect score in my opinion. A lot of that has to do with his ability to blend the traditional with the contemporary and the experimental, to make music that's as equally appropriate for a rap album as it is for a feature film. In particular, there are 3 musical moments in Creed that I think together paint a picture of his creative process. And in this video, I want to break down how he goes about building a musical vocabulary throughout the film. The first moment comes after Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, decides to pursue his own boxing career decades after his father Apollo's death. He moves to Philadelphia, convinces Rocky Balboa to be his trainer, and moves into a bare-bones apartment. Bianca, played by Tessa Thompson, lives below him and is a musician, but he doesn't know that when he asks her to turn her music down and she refuses. He finds out when he sees her poster outside this club and decides to watch her perform. That's when he hears this song. Original songs have always been an important part of Rocky. Take Rocky III's Eye of the Tiger. But in Creed's case, those songs are an extension of the score. Grip lasts less than a minute and a half, but it accomplishes a few things. From a narrative perspective, it establishes Bianca as a musician, and it allows Adonis to see her in her element and develop a genuine interest in her. But besides that, Göransson does something that's important for the rest of the film. He establishes musical links to boxing. Listen to the beginning, as Adonis moves through the hallway. The driving force of this beat is the sound and cadence of boxing gloves hitting a punching bag. The punching bag is normally associated with violence and aggression. But Göransson's able to give the sound an almost hypnotic quality, and in conjunction with the echoey, distant piano, it sets a mood before the camera gets to Bianca and Göransson's cameo as a band member on stage. Sounds like these, which he collected at a recording session at director Ryan Coogler's old boxing gym, become prominent in Creed's 2 training scenes. For instance, at the start of this first scene, you hear the punching bags joined by the rattling of chains. If there's a common thread between Göransson's scores, it's the way he weaves unexpected but appropriate sounds into his music.
All these beats are kind of made by these boxing elements that I recorded in Oakland.
On Coogler's first feature film, 2013's Fruitvale Station, he used recordings from a BART train to create an atmospheric score foreshadowing Oscar Grant's fate at the end of the movie. And for The Mandalorian, he included quote-unquote metal sounds in the music to represent Din Djarin's armor and how integral it is to the character's identity. For Creed, the sounds of the bag and chain add to their appearance on screen as Adonis looks around his new gym and meets the people who work there. As we get into the scene, we are introduced to a rendition of Adonis' theme that not only showcases his progression as a boxer, but reflects his newfound sense of belonging. At the start of the movie, this theme is played on a piano. Similar to what Bill Conti did for Rocky's theme in Rocky, to reinforce his lack of direction and clarity. But instead of jumping right from a somber motif to the majestic fanfare Rocky is known for, Creed's theme develops more methodically. Here it's first played with a combination of flutes and Göransson's voice filtered through a vocoder. As the scene progresses, he transitions the theme to the brass. First the French horns,
one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. Get it right.
followed by the trumpets.
Good. I want you to let it all out. Hey, everyone's ever disrespected.
He ends with a swell of everything that came before, adding some hip-hop elements to the mix to signal that Adonis' hard work is about to pay dividends. This leads into the second of his 3 fights in the movie, which he wins by knockout. I mean, of course. But in the process, the boxing community finds out he is the son of Apollo Creed, as he has been hiding his real name from the public to this point in the film. He then accepts an offer to fight for the heavyweight championship belt on the condition that he competes as a Creed. Not long after, Rocky learns he has cancer, and his initial reluctance to treat his condition angers Adonis. Eventually, they come to an agreement.
I ain't training if you don't get the treatment. So if I fight, you fight.
Which leads to the film's pivotal training montage. Göransson worked close to 100 hours and scored roughly 40 minutes of music just for this 5-minute scene.
Get up.
This is the emotional climax of the movie, and he establishes the mood right away by adding what sounds like a boxing ring canvas to the French horns.
We usually did that with one hand. I don't want to say anything, though.
But before we focus on Adonis' training, Göransson uses a more pronounced string section and a somber melody to intensify Rocky's agony during his cancer treatments. Right now, Adonis is responsible for his own fitness, as well as Rocky's health. And as his tasks shift from beat to beat, the score does as well. As the montage gets closer to the end, Göransson delivers a finish that uses all the techniques employed thus far, while incorporating new elements that add to the score's contemporary feel. The first of these is Meek Mill. The Philadelphia-based rapper boasts an aggressive style, and the verse, pulled from a song featured on the movie soundtrack called Lord Knows, adds to the score's local stamp, giving the montage a new burst of energy. As Adonis reaches the end of his run, Coogler shows his trust in Göransson by removing all other sounds to let the score carry the montage the rest of the way. That riff you hear is from R&B artist Jhené Aiko, who recorded the part in just 5 minutes, but it adds the angelic and ethereal quality this moment needs. This final rendition of the theme puts everything together and provides a sense of closure to Adonis' journey. He has grown from a lost kid to a fully realized fighter in person, and the music allows us to take that journey with him.
And the Oscar goes to
Ludwig Göransson.
Black Panther.
Göransson since won Oscars, Grammys, and Emmys for his work, but I think the techniques he used to update the Rocky franchise provide a good roadmap for understanding how he translates narrative into sound. It's fitting that he's Donald Glover's producer of choice, because neither view genres as restrictions, and both recognize pushing boundaries can bring success. So the next time you watch The Mandalorian, or anything he's put music to, pay attention to how he immerses you in a world, how he sinks you deeper into a story. Of course, you don't really have to actively do that. It'll just happen. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I've honestly wanted to make this video for a long time now because I just love all of his scores. And I figured since this new season of The Mandalorian is out, now would be a good time to do that. If you like this video, I encourage you to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. Anyways, see you in the next one.